MLG opens an esports arena, Fnatic and Evil Geniuses win big, and we discuss the influence of Keanu Reeves on American Counter-Strike. I'm John Ricer, and with me as always are Meg Turney and the Daily Dot's Jared Wynne. How you guys doing?
Oh, wonderful.
Here's what you need to know.
How exciting. MLG's latest Call of Duty Pro League champion was decided last week. The 3-month-long season saw the league's 8 best teams move through to attend the live final at MLG's brand new esports arena in Columbus, Ohio. This was the first event held at the arena and the last to be played using Call of Duty Ghosts. The winners were Team MVS, who were the favorites going in, and they triumphed over Noble Gaming in the final. Jared, they were the favorites going in. Was this to be expected?
It was a surprise if you were making predictions a few months ago, because Evil Geniuses was not even in attendance. It was a 12-team league, and they did not qualify in the top 8 to make the final. That was a surprise, obviously. They've been going through a lot of tumult, and now they're probably done as a team, which is too bad, because they had one of the most dominant runs in any competitive gaming avenue. But for Envy to win the tournament was not a surprise. Yeah, they played very well. They've got some great players on their team, and with EG Formula Complexity now out of the picture, we're probably not going to see any one team dominate the way they did for so long, and it's not a big surprise again to see Envy win this event.
And we talked about MLG's new arena. Is this a trend we're going to see happening more often?
The building of arenas like this, I don't think we're going to see a lot of dedicated esports arenas being built the way that MLG has just built one. I think we're going to see more of organizations looking to existing arenas the way Valve did going to Key Arena in Seattle for the International, because you have a lot of big spaces which are well suited to concerts, to sporting events, that you can bring a big esports celebration or event into. You don't need a dedicated arena for that. Plus, it's a very costly thing.
Yeah.
I think the only reason you're going to see in the near future dedicated esports arenas go up like that is if you have an organization like MLG, who are their own entity, have need of their own little place they can call home and do whatever they want to do in it. It makes sense for them.
They're putting on so many events that it makes sense for them to have their own place.
Yeah, and they're events that they own. They're doing them regularly. It's just the specific thing to an organization like MLG. For Valve to do that doesn't really make sense, because they have one big event a year. Even if Valve ran more tournaments, or an organization like Valve ran more tournaments, ESL, who run some really big tournaments, they go around the world doing it at different places. So to have it in one location wouldn't make sense to them. It's a very specific organization that has need of an arena like this. We have some Korean organizations who have long had little studios like this. So there is a need for them somewhere, and in some cases, but it's not going to be a broad trend, at least not for a long time. And we're not going to see taxpayers shelling out money to fund esports venues anytime soon. So these companies have to fund them themselves, or through investing, obviously. So yeah, not a thing we're going to see a lot of in the near future.
Okay. Well, the Faceit organization held a pair of big Counter-Strike tournaments over the weekend. The biggest of the two was played in Milan, Italy, and featured 4 qualifying teams from Europe and 2 qualifiers from North America. Big names like Cloud9, Virtus Pro, and Dignitas couldn't make it through the tough-as-nails field to the grand final. In the end, it was iBuyPower battling Fnatic for the title, and Fnatic prevailed in the best-of-5 series by a score of 3-1. Jared, what was your takeaway from the event?
The main takeaway was just Fnatic being the best team in the world. They were considered likely to be that going in, and coming out of it, they certainly are considered to be that. And the fact that behind Fnatic, there's really no hard ranking for the next 10, 12 teams. iBuyPower was considered a fringe team in the top 10 or 12, and here they made the final and played very well. They beat LDLC in the semifinal series. LDLC was playing as well as anyone, including Fnatic, coming into this event. So for iBuyPower to beat them, it just shows how much parity you have at the top of the game. These teams are better than the teams after that top 10 or 12, but once you get to this top spot, it's hard to really rank one team ahead of the other, except for Fnatic, who I think pretty clearly have staked out a spot atop the Counter-Strike scene.
Very cool. Now, we did mention another tournament hosted by Faceit. The second one was local to American teams and was sponsored by Lionsgate, the film production company behind the new Keanu Reeves film, John Wick. That's right, Keanu Reeves basically funded a Counter-Strike tournament. The future is amazing. Jared, Keanu Reeves and Counter-Strike, how did this happen, and why is it so awesome?
Well, Keanu is actually a personal friend of mine. I call him Kitty.
Oh.
You know, it's a personal name, connection, pet
Really?
name type of thing. Yeah, or Kitty.
Kitty,
for sure.
Kitty.
It depends on
Like
his mood.
Kirito from-
Yeah, sometimes he's feeling kind of spunky, and I call him Kitty, and sometimes he's feeling kind of
Kitty.
down, and I keep it to like a...
Not weird at all.
Don't judge me. And don't judge Keanu. That's
Dare you?
I was not judging Keanu at all in that
How
statement.
dare you?
Okay.
I love Keanu.
Well, I didn't tell you what he calls me.
I don't.
But moving on.
Right.
Yeah, so I asked him, and he was just like, I don't want to talk about it. It's been a long day at work. Let's just not, he goes and
Let's just cuddle.
He puts on his robe. He didn't say that, Believe me, that's the
That
last thing
would
he would
be
say.
That's
You-
the
you-
line.
You don't know him the way I do.
We found the line.
Hey, Taken. Already occupied, okay?
Sorry.
Please, Keanu.
Please.
You can have a platonic cuddle.
No, I can't share
Not
with
with
Keanu.
Keanu. You don't
Believe
know.
me, no cuddling with Keanu's platonic.
Oh.
So he wouldn't tell you, but what
He
do you
wouldn't tell
think?
me, no. It's just a product of Lionsgate, the production company trying to market. Gaming is obviously a big place to go for some key demographics, that young male demographic, especially like the 16 to
girls.
24. Yeah, but that's what they're looking for generally when they're marketing there. You know, especially with a film like John Wick, which is like a
But Keanu.
action movie.
Oh, yeah, no.
Is he a heartthrob?
Ladies can't like action movies.
No,
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
I
No.
don't give a shit. Say it. Who cares?
I'm saying if I'm a marketing or PR person who's obviously dumb, they're going to say that. I'm not saying that. Yeah. I'm not
Chocolate
saying-
eating marketing people?
Damn.
I'm just telling you what the marketers say, okay? When they're not eating chocolate, and they don't have their mouths just bursting full of chocolate, a big chocolate load in their mouth. When they don't have that. When they don't have that, they talk about this.
You got me.
Lionsgate
Yes.
is marketing towards gamers, and competitive gaming has become big enough that when you market towards gamers, marketing towards a competitive gaming niche is a legitimate possibility. So they put $20,000 into a gaming tournament, which is not a lot of money for them. It just shows that this has become a big enough thing, a visible enough thing, that even a marketing or PR company is going to look at it and say, hey, we can take advantage of this. So we're gonna see more of it in the future. Not a lot of, we're not gonna see like 20 tournaments funded next year by,
Kitty.
films like Kitty.
Kitty.
Yeah, Kitty. That's
Kitty
right. Kiki, I forgot which name it. So many,
So many names.
Yeah, so many names
many.
for all the celebrities that I have
Right.
personal relationships with. Like Kitty.
In
No.
Kiev, Ukraine, the finals were held for the 10th Star Ladder Star Series season in Dota 2. 6 of Europe's best teams were in attendance, including Na'Vi, Alliance, and Secret Team. They were joined by Execration from the Philippines and Evil Geniuses of the United States.
Secret Team put together a great run through the event and looked poised to take it all, but it was the Americans who would prevail. Evil Geniuses emerged from the lower bracket to take down Secret Team in the final and pocket a prize of over $100,000. Jared, tell us about how Evil Geniuses took it all.
I think they've really grown into their own as potentially the best team in the world. They have a lot of backbone. They can really stick to it because Secret Team played very well here. They did not lose a single game prior to the grand final, including beating EG in the upper bracket final. But EG stuck to it. They talked some shit. Arteezy said, we'll be back. We're going to see you in the grand final, and we're going to beat you then. Oh, he implied beating them then. He wasn't just saying we're going to see you again and lose.
It would be nice to catch lunch at some point when we cross your paths again.
I don't think he said
No,
that.
okay.
No, it's not really an Arteezy thing to say.
I'd be a bad hype man.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. Probably enjoys lunch every day, but I don't think he wanted to enjoy it with Secret Team.
He wanted to eat their lunch.
Oh, yeah. He probably, yeah. So PPD also talked some shit. And he's the team captain, the leader, the voice of reason. And even he's talking shit. They back it up, though. They win the games. And we're actually going to show, through the magic of the internet and television, if you prefer.
Sure.
We're going to show in part how EG did this because Secret Team could prove very elusive at times, but EG just would not stop. They would catch them. Kuroki of Secret Team played Medusa, a hero that you want to keep alive over the course of the game so she can become stronger and stronger as the game goes along. And we're going to show how EG tried to take her down, but then one of Kuroki's teammates, Big Daddy, which is a great name, was able to come in and save the day. As we look to the clip,
There it is.
there it is, the great clip. EG surrounding Kuroki's Medusa, going to annihilate him. He has no chance. He is going down. But then here comes Big Daddy's Earthshaker with a big wall across the screen. Separates EG. They can't get to him anymore. They cannot get to the Medusa. Look at that. He bounces away with a Force Staff, which is a nice item that he used to prepare himself for it. Just a really precise hit from Big Daddy is enough to get his teammate away, spirit him away to safety. But safety would not last forever. EG was relentless in their pursuit, as we will see pretty soon. When Universe comes with his Tidehunter, uses a big ultimate ability that stuns every Secret Team player within range, including Big Daddy, so he can't use that damn wall. He can't stop EG from getting to Kuroki's Medusa, so now they're going to pursue him relentlessly, and this time he will fall. He will go down, he will die, he will be defeated, he will suffer, he will go down, as we said. Yeah.
It's so funny. As we watch this, I'm like, oh, that's what my ability in Smite did. That was a wall.
not
I get it.
Smite.
I know,
That's
but
the
it's
wrong game.
No, I know it's not. But I'm saying like they use the same similar attacks
See,
because it's also.
Meg, this is why marketers don't look towards female
How
demographics.
dare I say they use similar attacks in different games?
This is why they market
Yeah, he has like an ice wall that you can make. Screw you, it's
No,
a
that's
thing.
Ymir.
But it's like a thingy and it comes up and it would...
Okay.
Yeah. Right. It would separate people.
It's a wall.
But I
Yeah, it's a
totally
wall.
thought it was like a distance attack and I was like, oh, that guy's over there. I'll get him. I was using it incorrectly. I can't say because I don't know when this airs if my team did well or not, but I did use an attack incorrectly.
Incorrectly.
Thank you.
You know.
Spoiler alert. That's only a spoiler, though.
No, not at all.
It's probably expected.
Probably, yeah, absolutely. I played Smite twice before my team played.
You're supposed to say you practiced a whole lot. No,
not at all.
Finally, change has hit some of the world's best League of Legends teams following the conclusion of this year's World Championship, which was won by Samsung Galaxy White. First, LMQ may be on the outs. The Chinese team came to the United States with the goal of playing in the North American League Championship Series. Not only did they accomplish that, they managed to place third in the league playoffs and qualify for Worlds. But now the team is losing several players from their successful roster, and it's unknown how they'll go about filling those gaps.
On the other side of the Atlantic, Millennium has brought in 2 Korean talents to fill out their own roster, Cho Horo Jae-won and Ryu. Damn these names. Ryu Sang-uk. I didn't because it's J1.
Oh.
Jared, let's start with LMQ. Is this the end of their American dream?
I think it could be. They've been forced to almost completely reload, and because of the rules that exist with regards to bringing in players from different nations when you're in a particular region, which we won't go into in full detail here, LMQ cannot just import a bunch of Chinese players. They have to look to multiple regions, which is difficult because then you have potential communicative problems. You know, Chinese, or Mandarin rather, compared to any other language. Those problems can be overcome because we saw Starhorn Royal Club with a mix of Chinese and Korean players finish second at Worlds. So it's not something you can't get over, but working from scratch, as it would be here, it's a difficult thing when you're basically building up a new team because they might only have one player remaining from the original LMQ roster. So it's tough for them. They could potentially arrange something. There's talk of them holding basically tryouts for new players.
Wow.
But, you know, I don't really see it being a successful thing. I could be wrong. But it's definitely a tough situation for them. And it's too bad because they went through such a long and perilous journey to make it to the LCS playoffs and to get to Worlds eventually through the North American region, moving here with nothing in their name with regards to league. So it's too bad it's ended like this.
Yeah. When we talk about Millennium bringing on a couple of Korean players, is this also a trend that we might start seeing?
Yeah, I think it's already a trend we've seen. Korean players are not a new import for foreign teams, international teams to have. And I think as time goes on, you're going to see more international crossover overall, not just from Korea, because internet connections get better and it's easier for players from different regions to compete with one another. Right now, the only reason, besides the language barrier, that teams tend to stay within certain regional walls is because that's what the internet allows for. You know, if you're in Western Europe, you play with Western European players because they're the easiest to connect to. It makes sense. You know, it's just a practicality thing. So if that was no longer an issue, there's no reason for players from, for example, Europe to play with players from North America or wherever else. So we're going to see more of this in the future. With regards to Korean players specifically, we already see it. There's also the issue of Korean players perhaps wanting to get out of that environment they're already in.
Right.
It's a different kind of practice environment.
Yeah, we've talked about
Even
that.
if they play the same number of hours, you have StarCraft players trying to get away. You have some League of Legends players trying to get away. I shouldn't say trying to get away, like they're having to escape the esports prison in Korea or some shit. But just getting to a different environment that maybe is a breath of fresh air for them.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jared, for teaching me so much about MOBAs in general with your clips today, because it was exciting. Through the magic of television.
Yes.
Yes.
Television.
Yes, I love television.
Television is magical.
Especially the televisions here. That's what I meant, actually. I didn't mean we were going to be on television. I meant the televisions here.
He wants to talk about it.
Would magically help us. Listen, I'm going to explain myself.
You should.
The televisions here would magically help me
This boy have his moment.
to do...
Jared, you nailed it. John, how dare you? That's it for the leaderboard this week. Join Ashley and myself for the Know It All on Friday on the Rooster Teeth channel, where we bring you all the best news of the week in one shot.
In the meantime, for more gaming and entertainment news, make sure you click like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for more from the leaderboard. GG, everyone.
That's so smart that it's a wall.
It's a wall.
It's a wall.
It's a wall.
I learned so much.
It's a wall.
This show teaches me so much. The more you know.